I saw his hand on her thigh, under the table, while she looked me dead in the eyes and smiled. That was the exact second something in me snapped. We were at a rooftop restaurant, candles flickering, skyline glowing, and my wife Savannah was letting her so-called boss slide his hand up her leg, right in front of me. Travis Keller, CEO, alpha wannabe, a smug piece of work who smelled like imported whiskey and entitlement. I didn't imagine it. I didn't misread it. I saw it. I dropped my fork. She didn't flinch. She didn't even move his hand. You think I can't see you flirting right in front of me? I said, my voice calm, dangerous. Travis leaned back like this was a joke. Like I was the child at the adult table. Savannah? She didn't miss a beat. If you can't handle it, she said, sipping her wine with a devil's grin, leave. And that's when I gave her the last words I'll ever say as her husband. Consider it done, sweetheart. It's your farewell performance. I stood, heart pounding, rage cold and clear. But I didn't storm off. No, I watched. I watched her let him kiss her hand as I walked away. I watched her whisper something and laugh. That laugh used to be mine. And in that moment, I realized something brutal. They planned this. This wasn't just an affair. It was a takedown. Humiliate me. Make me walk away. Make her the victim. But I wasn't the guy who breaks. I'm the guy who gets even. I didn't go home that night. I drove for hours, no direction, just the sound of tires grinding against the road and my breath trying to calm the volcano inside me. Every time I blinked, I saw Savannah's smile. That smug, victorious curve of her lips. Like she won. Like I was some weak little man she'd outgrown. But I wasn't weak. I wasn't done. I parked in a 24-hour gym lot at 2 a.m. and stared at my phone. The screenshots were still there. Her messages to Travis. The ones I'd found a week earlier but hadn't confronted her about. Her sending him that bathroom mirror pic from our house. The caption, he's asleep downstairs. You've got the better view. Peach emoji. Heart. Flame. I could have destroyed her right then. Blown everything up. But I waited. I needed proof. I needed more. I needed to see how deep it went. Next day, I called in sick and followed her to work. She didn't go to the office. She went to a hotel. She met Travis there. I sat in my car, parked across the street, watching her step out in heels and a pencil skirt so tight it could have been painted on. She looked different. Not like my wife. Like a woman auditioning for someone else's bed. They didn't even try to hide it. He pulled her close right at the entrance. Kissed her neck like they were teenagers skipping class. My stomach twisted, but I kept the camera rolling. Every second recorded. Time-stamped. Documented. For court. For leverage. For me. She stayed inside for over 2 hours. I didn't need to imagine what happened. I'd seen the messages. I knew. But I wasn't there to be heartbroken anymore. I was there to build a case. That night, she came home with takeout and a fake smile. Long day, she said, dropping the bag on the counter. Let's eat on the couch, yeah? I missed you. I almost laughed. Missed me? She missed the idea of me. The security. The house. The clean image. But she didn't miss me. I played along. Sat next to her. Ate the food she didn't even know I hated. Nodded at her story about a client lunch and how Travis was a total workaholic. Lies coated in charm. I wanted to throw the receipts in her face. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Because the moment I speak too early, she wins. She cries. She spins it. She tells her version first. So I waited. I let her lie. And she did. Over and over again. Like she was testing how much she could get away with. Like I was too blind or too soft to see her for what she really was. A traitor. Savannah used to be my everything. We met at a friend's barbecue 6 years ago. She was loud, funny, and had this wild energy that drew people in. She told me I was too serious and made it her mission to mess with me until I cracked a smile. She made me feel alive. That version of her is dead. Now she's cold, calculated, manipulative. She weaponizes love and uses it like bait. And that night, sitting on our couch, fake laughing at a show she wasn't even watching, I realized I didn't love her anymore. I loved the memory of her. And memories don't cheat. After she fell asleep, I slipped her phone out of her purse. She'd changed the password. Cute. But I already knew it. His birthday. She used Travis's birthday. I scrolled through everything. DMs, photos, even notes. She'd been journaling about how empowering it felt to have someone chase her again. How weak I'd become since I left my corporate job to start my own business. How Travis made her feel wanted, alive, and valuable. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was her placeholder. I copied everything. Next day, I met with a lawyer. Are you sure you want to go nuclear? She asked me. I didn't flinch. I'm past wanting. I'm doing. The plan was simple. Strategic. Legal. Brutal. I'd wait one more week. Let her sink deeper. Let her plan her little escape while I close the trap. Because when the curtains fall, I won't just walk out of her life. I'll own the stage she tried to steal. And she'll realize her alpha boss never had claws. He just had money. But me? I had nothing left to lose. The day she told me she was going on a weekend retreat with the team was the day I knew it was time. She packed the red suitcase, the same one we used on our honeymoon. She stood in the hallway, zipping it up while humming some song like life was good and her conscience was clean. You sure you'll be okay on your own, babe? She asked, tossing her curling iron into the side pouch. I just smiled. Go live your best corporate life, sweetheart. She winked, blew a kiss, walked out the door. I followed. 10 minutes later, I was 2 cars behind the black Audi that picked her up. Travis was driving. Of course he was. No assistant. No other co-workers. Just her and the man she was cheating with, heading to a 5-star resort 2 hours up the coast. They held hands at stoplights. She rested her head on his shoulder while he drove. She laughed, like she hadn't done with me in months. And every second of it, I recorded. I didn't follow them all the way to the resort. I didn't need to. I had what I came for. The only thing left to do was burn the illusion down. When she returned 2 days later, hair tousled, skin tanned, and wearing a new gold necklace that wasn't there before, she acted like nothing had happened. Missed you, she said, wrapping her arms around me. I almost laughed in her face. Instead, I hugged her back, tightly, because it was the last time. The next morning, I had everything laid out. The envelope on the kitchen counter, my wedding ring placed beside it, her phone, unlocked and open to the messages she thought were private. She came downstairs in her robe, rubbing her eyes. What's this? She mumbled. Truth, I said. She picked up the papers, flipped through them, and her face went pale. Photos, screenshots, hotel receipts, GPS logs, even the recording from the restaurant. All of it. Her lip curled. You went through my stuff? No, I went through my life and found out it was a lie. She dropped the envelope and crossed her arms. This is so dramatic, Connor. You act like I murdered someone. You murdered us. She scoffed. Wow. Okay. Travis treats me like a queen. He listens to me. You've been sulking in this house for months. What was I supposed to do? Not this. She rolled her eyes. You're being so pathetic right now. If you can't handle the truth. I cut her off. If you can't handle commitment, you shouldn't have gotten married. She stepped closer. You're overreacting. We were just having fun. I stared at her. You let another man touch you, sleep next to you, while still wearing my name. She didn't flinch. If you can't handle it, leave. Same words. Same venom. I nodded slowly. My heart didn't even ache anymore. I was past pain. Consider it done, sweetheart. It's your farewell performance. I grabbed my keys, walked out, and never looked back. But she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. 2 days later, I got a call from my lawyer. She's contesting the prenup, she said. Of course she was. Savannah didn't just want freedom. She wanted everything. My business. My house. Even my dog, Jasper. The same dog she used to complain about shedding too much. She wanted to win. So I gave her a fight. I unleashed everything. The evidence. The timeline. Her expense reports showing romantic getaways labeled as client dinners. The necklace Travis gave her? Bought with the company card. She was fired. He was investigated for misconduct. And Savannah? She lost everything. The day she showed up at my place, sunglasses on, voice cracking, mascara smudged, I didn't open the door. She banged on it for 5 minutes. Connor, I made a mistake. No, she didn't. She made a choice. And I made mine. Because there's something about being betrayed that rewires a man. It burns the weakness out of you. What's left isn't broken. It's dangerous. And she created it. Weeks passed. Quiet ones. The kind of quiet that doesn't comfort. It haunts. I'd wake up in the middle of the night expecting to hear her voice down the hallway, or her phone buzzing on the nightstand. But there was nothing. Just silence and the low hum of the air conditioner. Jasper, the dog she tried to claim after ignoring for 3 years, would curl at the foot of the bed like he sensed everything. Dogs know. They always do. He'd watch me, tilting his head every time I sat there too long staring at the divorce papers. She kept dragging the process out. One minute she wanted to settle. The next she wanted the house. Then she wanted half the business she never touched. She thought I'd cave. Thought I'd do what she expected, what I always did, give in. But she underestimated the version of me she created. I wasn't her safety net anymore. I was the reckoning. The media caught wind of Travis's internal investigation. Word spread that he'd been mentoring several women. Savannah wasn't special. She was just one of many. When that news broke, I watched her Instagram crumble. Her little curated fantasy world, the one filled with coffee shop selfies and boss babe captions, was suddenly flooded with hate comments and followers bailing like rats off a sinking ship. Then she messaged me. "Savannah, can we talk? Face to face. Please." I stared at it for a full 10 minutes. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But another part, the one that needed to see her squirm, replied. "Me. Public place. You pick." She chose a cafe. The one where we'd first met. Clever. I got there early. She walked in 5 minutes late, oversized sunglasses hiding the damage. But I didn't need to see her eyes. Her whole body screamed defeat. She sat down across from me, pulling her sleeves over her wrists like she was cold. "I lost my job," she said, not even saying hi. "I know. I can't afford rent." "Tragic." She flinched. I didn't care. "I wasn't supposed to fall for him," she whispered, finally looking up. "It started as a joke. I just wanted to feel wanted again." That line. That pathetic, overused line. "You could have told me that. We could have fixed something. Together. But you wanted a performance. Drama. Applause. You got it." Tears welled in her eyes. The same eyes that used to light up when I walked into a room. Now they were hollow. "I thought you'd fight for me," she said. I leaned in. "I did. I fought for us when you started pulling away. I asked. I listened. I showed up. You didn't want a husband. You wanted an audience." She looked away, jaw trembling. "I miss you," she said. "I miss who we were." I nodded slowly. "So do I. But that version of us doesn't exist anymore. You killed it the moment you let another man replace me." She wiped her eyes with a napkin. The silence between us was heavy, filled with everything we couldn't say anymore. Finally, I stood up. "Take care of yourself, Savannah." As I turned to leave, she called after me. "Connor, wait. Do you hate me?" I paused at the door. "No," I said. "I just don't recognize you." And then I left. No dramatic exit. No revenge monologue. Just me walking out of the wreckage she built with her own hands. Some men hold on. Others burn it all down. I rebuilt. Brick by brick. With scars, yes, but also clarity. She wanted me broken. I became bulletproof. And I made damn sure she knew. She didn't leave a man behind. She created one she can never touch again. A month later, I saw her again. But this time, she didn't see me. I was at a charity gala downtown. My company had partnered with a few nonprofits, and it was the first time in a long while I actually felt like I belonged somewhere again. No fake smiles. No invisible chains. Just me, rebuilding what she tried to destroy. And there she was. Alone. She wore a black dress. Tight, expensive, and trying too hard. Her hair was different. Lighter. Like she was shedding the last version of herself. But her eyes? Still empty. She was drifting around the room like she didn't know where to stand anymore. I watched her linger near a few men, laughing too loudly, touching their arms just a second too long. She was fishing, searching for someone to give her what Travis didn't, what I wouldn't, what she couldn't give herself. Worth. She hadn't seen me yet, and I wasn't about to make it easy. A friend of mine, Madison, sharp, no nonsense, walked up and slipped her arm into mine. "Your ex is here," she said, eyes flicking toward Savannah. "You okay?" I smiled. "More than." She grinned. "Good. Because she looks like someone who's just realized she bet on the wrong man." That night didn't end in chaos. There was no scene, no confrontation. Just one quiet glance across the room, where her eyes finally found mine. And I smiled. Not out of cruelty. Out of closure. She blinked, stepped toward me, and I turned away. The next morning, I got one last message from her. "Savannah, do you ever think about what we had?" I didn't answer. What was there to say? Because no matter how much she tried to twist it, this wasn't about what we had. It was about what she chose. She chose temporary attention over permanent love, fantasy over loyalty. She needed the high of being desired so badly. She burned the one place she was actually safe. I was done mourning, done replaying it. The love I had for her, buried, not in bitterness, in peace. I started going on walks with Jasper every morning. Sunrise. Quiet streets. No drama. Just me and a dog who never betrayed me. I saw the world differently now. The little things felt sharper, truer. Conversations felt more honest. Even silence had a rhythm again. And slowly, I started seeing myself, really seeing myself, in the mirror again. Not the man she reduced. The man who rose. I took a trip. Booked a one-way ticket to Italy. Spent 2 weeks hiking, drinking wine, talking to strangers who knew nothing about me. It was the first time in years I wasn't carrying the weight of being someone else's disappointment. One night, in a small village off the Amalfi Coast, I met a woman named Sophia. She had kind eyes and didn't ask about my past. We talked for hours. Not about betrayal or lies or revenge. Just about books, music, life. And for the first time since everything happened, I felt calm. Not fixed, not healed, but free. I don't know what the future holds. I don't care. Because the lesson Savannah gave me, wrapped in all her lies and betrayal, is simple. Never beg to be loved. And never stay in a place where your worth has to be proven over and over again to someone who's already decided they don't see it. I didn't lose her. She lost me. And I hope one day, when she's alone in some high-rise apartment with no one left to fool, she finally realizes it. Some nights, the memories still knock. Not like a wrecking ball, but like distant thunder. I don't open the door for them anymore, but I hear them pacing outside. The hotel footage. The messages. Her smile across that dinner table when she knew I'd finally cracked. It doesn't haunt me. Not because I've forgotten, but because I outgrew it. Pain stops controlling you the moment you stop asking why they did it, and start asking why you stayed so long. That was the last part one had to face. The most uncomfortable truth. I knew something was wrong for months. I saw the signs. I felt the distance. But I clung to hope like it was a lifeboat, even as the ship was already sinking. I used to replay the moments where I could have said more, been more, done more. But now I know there was nothing more to do. Savannah had already made her choice. And every lie she told afterward wasn't to protect me. It was to protect her version of herself. The one that couldn't admit she was bored, selfish, or craving power more than love. One afternoon, Reed, my ex-Marine friend, invited me to his garage. "You need to break something," he said. No metaphor. He handed me a sledgehammer and pointed to a rusted-out truck door he was replacing. I didn't ask questions. I swung. Again, until my arms burned and my vision blurred. And you know what? It helped. Not because I imagined her face. Not because I wanted revenge. Because I finally let it all out. Not the rage. The shame. The shame of being blindsided. Of being loyal to someone who saw me as a backup plan. Of giving my best years to someone who only ever loved the version of me that made her feel superior. And that was the last piece I needed to put down. After that, life didn't feel like a constant rerun. I redecorated the house, painted the bedroom, got rid of the bed we shared. New mattress, new sheets, new silence. The kind I could finally breathe in. Savannah reached out a few more times. Emails, voicemails, a letter. All of them had the same tune. "I miss you. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were the best thing I ever had." But here's the part people don't understand. When trust is gone, love dies screaming. And you don't resurrect it just because you're lonely. One of her messages actually said, "I thought you'd always be there." That stuck with me. She didn't mourn me. She mourned the convenience of me. The guaranteed emotional safety net. The man who covered her rent when she overspent. Who massaged her shoulders during her burnout while she texted another man in the bathroom. Yeah, she missed the version of me that she could use. And I'm proud to say that man's dead. What rose from that grave isn't bitter. He's focused, clear, not just surviving, thriving. I picked up boxing. Not for violence, for discipline, control. I rebuilt my business, doubled its size in 6 months. And people noticed. Investors, clients, friends, even women. But this time, I'm not rushing. I'm not saving anyone. I'm not giving someone a home just because they smile pretty and say the right words. Now, I look deeper. Not for perfection, but for truth. Because I know what lies look like now. They wear lipstick and say, "You're just being paranoid." They wear fake apologies and show up at your door when their new world collapses. They wear confidence until they're exposed. And when they fall, they always come crawling back. But by then, you're already too far ahead to even hear them knocking. A few months after the dust settled, I saw Travis again. It wasn't planned. I was at a business conference in Chicago. My company had a booth, a new product launch, the usual press and networking chaos. I was walking through the lobby toward the main hall when I heard his voice behind me. Loud, confident, still thinking the world owed him attention. I turned and there he was, standing next to some junior execs, giving advice like a washed-up quarterback pretending the game still mattered. He didn't see me at first, but I walked right past him, slow, deliberate. And when he caught my face, he froze. Just for a second. I smiled. Not a friendly smile. You thought I disappeared, but I just evolved smile. He didn't say anything, just nodded once and turned back to his audience. But his voice cracked when he started speaking again. He knew. Everyone in that company knew what happened. Savannah's messages, his misconduct, the investigation. I didn't even have to do much. I just handed over the evidence. The rest? Karma's efficiency at work. And that's the part people overlook when they dream about revenge. You don't have to destroy someone when they're already rotting inside. You just have to stop covering the smell. That night, as the conference wound down and people filtered into bars and lounges, I sat on a rooftop balcony with a glass of whiskey. Alone. Peacefully alone. And I thought about how far I'd come from that dinner table. From watching another man touch my wife under the table. From hearing her say, "If you can't handle it, leave." From me replying, "Consider it done, sweetheart. It's your farewell performance." God, I meant every word. And now, months later, I finally felt it. The freedom of truly being done. No part of me wanted her back. Not even the good times. Because even the good memories were poisoned by the fact that she was capable of doing what she did. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just hurt. It rewrites everything. You start looking at the past like a detective at a crime scene. The smiles feel staged. The compliments sound rehearsed. The love feels counterfeit. I used to think I lost something when she left. Now I realize she did me the biggest favor of my life. She revealed herself. Fully. Finally. Completely. And she freed me to become who I was always meant to be. A man who walks through fire, but doesn't get burned. A man who knows his worth isn't measured by who loves him, but by who can't manipulate him. People ask me now, would you ever get married again? And I tell them this. Only if I find a woman who doesn't just want the ring, the house, the Instagram life, but one who would burn all that down if it meant protecting the man beside her. Savannah wasn't that woman. She was a storm in designer heels. Loud, dramatic, and gone the moment the wind shifted. And now? Now I don't chase storms. I build foundations. Because this time, the next chapter of my life won't be built on hope. It'll be built on truth. The final message she ever sent me came exactly 1 year to the day after I walked out of that restaurant. It was short. "Savannah, I'm sorry. For everything." No punctuation. No emojis. Just those 4 words, like they were supposed to fix what she shattered. I didn't respond. Not because I'm cruel, but because I'm finished. There's a peace that comes with closure. Not the fake kind people pretend to have while they still stalk their ex's Instagram at 2 a.m. I'm talking about real closure. The kind that comes when you've seen the worst of someone, survived it, and realized it never defined you. I used to wonder what I would say if I saw her again. Maybe I'd give her a speech, rub success in her face, show her what she threw away. But the truth is, I don't need to. She already knows. She sees it in every silent day without a response. In every moment, she realizes the alpha she traded me for was just a shallow man with a title and no spine. She'll replay it all eventually. The look in my eyes when I caught them. The calm in my voice when I walked away. The weight of those final words. It's your farewell performance. She'll think about how easy it all could have been. How love was right there. Loyal, devoted, unshakable. And how she mistook it for weakness. That's her burden now. Not mine. Because me? I moved forward. I didn't just rebuild. I leveled up. I learned to listen to the quiet, to trust my gut, to stop romanticizing people who would throw me into fire to feel warm. And I'd be lying if I said I'm not thankful. Not for the betrayal, but for what it revealed. I now know the difference between a woman who stands beside you and one who waits for the first moment to replace you. To every man who's ever sat in my shoes, confused, betrayed, broken, I say this. Let her go. Let the image go. Let the idea of who you thought she was go. And start building something no eye can touch. Because once the smoke clears and the crowd stops clapping for her performance, you'll be the only one still standing. Stronger, smarter, and untouchable.